Picture this. A woman is attacked outside her apartment building late at night. It takes a long time. And nearby, dozens of people hear it happen. Lights are on, windows are open, but almost nobody calls for help. Nobody comes down. For decades, this story was told as proof that people are cold, selfish, that big cities kill our humanity. But the truth psychologists uncovered was far stranger and far more useful. The people weren't heartless. They were trapped in a psychological effect so powerful it can make good people freeze while someone needs them. It's called the bystander effect, and understanding it could one day save your life. Here's the counterintuitive core of it. The more people who are present during an emergency, the less likely any single one of them is to help. Not more likely, less. A crowd doesn't multiply help. It can cancel it out entirely. That feels wrong. Surely more people means more potential helpers. But psychologists John Darley and Bib Latane decided to actually test it after that infamous case. What they found reshaped how we understand human behavior. In one experiment, they had participants sit alone in a room filling out a survey. Then smoke began pouring in under the door, the clear sign of a possible fire. When a person was alone, they reacted fast. Most got up and reported the smoke within minutes. But when the same thing happened with other people in the room, people who secretly were instructed to stay calm and do nothing, something disturbing happened. The real participant often just sat there, smoke filling the room, rubbing their eyes, waving it away, but staying put, because everyone else was staying put. In another study, participants overheard someone appearing to have a seizure. When they believed they were the only one who could hear it, 85% rushed to help. But when they believed several others were also listening, that number collapsed. Fewer helped, and those who did took far longer. So what's actually happening in the brain here? There are two invisible forces at work. The first is called diffusion of responsibility. When you're the only person present, 100% of the responsibility to act sits on you. There's no escape from it. But when there are 20 people, that responsibility gets divided, spread so thin across the crowd that each person feels only a tiny sliver of it. Someone else will handle it. Someone else is probably already calling. The tragedy is that everyone is thinking exactly the same thing at exactly the same moment. Responsibility shared by all becomes responsibility felt by none. The second force is even sneakier. It's called pluralistic ignorance. In an ambiguous situation, we look to other people to figure out how to react. Is this a real emergency, or am I overreacting? So you glance around and you see everyone else looking calm. What you don't realize is that they're doing the exact same thing, looking at you, seeing you calm, and concluding it must be nothing. Everyone is using everyone else as evidence that there's no problem. A room full of concerned people can convince itself, collectively, that nothing is wrong, simply because each person is hiding their own concern while reading everyone else's hidden concern as calm. Put those two together, and you get a crowd that freezes. Not out of cruelty, out of a very human, very automatic misreading of the moment. Now here's why this matters, and why it's not a depressing story, but a genuinely empowering one. Because once you know about the bystander effect, you become immune to it. Awareness alone breaks the spell. Studies have shown that people who've simply learned about this effect are far more likely to step in because they recognize the trap as it's happening. So let's turn this into things you can actually use. First, and this is the one to remember above all, if you are ever the person in trouble, do not shout to a crowd. "Somebody help me" is the worst thing you can say because it lands on everyone and therefore no one. Instead, point to one specific person and give them one specific instruction. You, in the red jacket, call an ambulance now. The moment you single someone out, diffusion of responsibility collapses. That person is now 100% responsible, and they will almost always act. If you take one thing from this video, take that. It could save your life or someone else's. Second, if you're a witness, be the one who breaks the freeze. Remember that the whole crowd is waiting for a signal that this is real. You can be that signal. The first person to act shatters the pluralistic ignorance for everyone. Suddenly others snap out of it and rush to help too. You don't need to be a hero. You just need to be first. Say clearly, "This is an emergency. We need help," and watch the crowd reanimate. Third, use this awareness in everyday life, not just dramatic emergencies. The group project where everyone assumes someone else will start. The problem at work that everyone sees and nobody raises. The friend who's clearly struggling while everyone waits for someone else to check in. Diffusion of responsibility runs quietly through all of it. Be the person who assumes it's yours to handle. Here's the deeper truth underneath all of this. The bystander effect isn't proof that people are bad. Those neighbors weren't monsters, and neither are you. It's proof that people are profoundly influenced by each other, so influenced that we'll sometimes override our own instinct to help just because the people around us seem calm. The danger was never a lack of good people. It was good people, all waiting for each other. So don't wait. Be the one who points. Be the one who moves first. Because now you know what everyone else in that frozen crowd doesn't. If this changed how you'll act in a crowd, there's a whole playlist of these waiting for you. I'll see you in the next one.